What happens when a terrified waitress walks up to a billionaire CEO and whispers, "He is going to kill me tonight. Please, you are my only hope." The answer would destroy a criminal empire, expose a 6-month covert operation, and end with an FBI arrest broadcast live to millions. But I am getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to that rainy October evening at the Sterling Bistro in downtown Chicago. The kind of night where the city lights blur through rain-streaked windows, and every shadow seems to hide a secret. My name is Sarah Mitchell, 28 years old. On paper, just another waitress hustling for tips in an upscale restaurant. But that is what they wanted everyone to believe. 3 years ago, I was Assistant District Attorney, Sarah Mitchell. I'd built my entire career prosecuting organized crime in Illinois. I was good at it. Maybe too good. That is, when I made the mistake of going after Victor Castellano. By day, Victor was the epitome of respectability, CEO of Castellano Enterprises, a real estate development company with buildings across the Midwest. Charity Gallus, university board member. His face smiled from the business section of the Chicago Tribune every other month. By night, he ran one of the most ruthless criminal organizations in the country. Drug trafficking through his construction sites, money laundering through luxury apartments, and when witnesses got too close to talking, they disappeared. I'd gathered evidence, testimonies, financial records. I was weeks away from bringing him down. Then one night, I came home to find my apartment ransacked. Photos of my younger sister Emma scattered across my bed. A note in red ink: "Drop the case, or she drops 6 feet under." I looked at those photos. Emma laughing at her college graduation. Emma at her wedding. Emma holding her newborn son. And I made a choice that haunted me every single day since. I dropped the case. I resigned from the DA's office, citing personal reasons. And I vanished. The next year, becoming a ghost, but here is what Victor didn't know. I didn't just disappear. I went underground. I changed my appearance. Dyed my honey blonde hair to dark brown. Got colored contacts to hide my distinctive green eyes. Lost 15 pounds, started going by my middle name, Sarah, instead of Catherine. The DA's office thought I'd given up. Victor's people thought they'd scared me into silence. They were wrong. For 18 months, I worked dead-end jobs, moving from city to city, always watching over my shoulder. But I was also doing something else, documenting everything, every property Victor owned, every shell company, every business front, every person in his organization. I kept it all on encrypted drives, hidden in safety deposit boxes across 3 states. I told myself that one day, somehow, I'd find a way to bring him down. Then 6 months ago, Victor found me. The trap closes. I'd been working at the Sterling Bistro for 3 months. It was a good cover-up, scale enough that tips paid the rent, busy enough that I could blend into the background. The owner, Thomas Sterling, was a kind man who didn't ask too many questions about my sparse work history. I thought I was safe. I should have known better. It was a Tuesday afternoon, during the lunch rush. I was refilling water glasses at table 7 when I felt it. That prickling sensation on the back of my neck, the one that screams danger. I looked up, and there he was. Victor Castellano, in a $15,000 suit, sitting at table 12 by the window, reading the menu like he didn't have a care in the world. Our eyes met. He smiled. Slow, predatory. My blood turned to ice. He'd found me. The first move, I somehow made it through my shift without dropping every plate I carried. My hands shook so badly, I had to hide them in my apron pockets between tables. Victor ate leisurely, ordered the salmon, drank imported wine, made pleasant small talk with his lunch companion, some city councilman I recognized from the news. And the entire time, his eyes followed me around the room. When he finally left, He placed a $100 bill on the table for a $60 meal. Underneath it, a note in his distinctive handwriting. Catherine, long time no see. We should catch up. I'll be in touch. I stuffed the note in my pocket and rushed to the bathroom, barely making it before I threw up. He knew where I worked, which meant he knew where I lived, which meant Emma. I pulled out my phone with shaking hands and called my sister. Sarah? Her voice was cheerful, unaware. What is up? I am just getting Lucas down for his nap. Listen to me carefully, I interrupted, trying to keep my voice steady. Do you remember what we talked about, the emergency plan? There was a pause. When she spoke again, her voice had changed. Sarah, what is wrong? He found me. I need you to take Lucas and go to Aunt Marie's in Minneapolis. Right now. Don't pack, just go. I'll explain later. But, Emma, please, trust me. Another pause. Then, okay, we're leaving now? Don't tell anyone where you are going. Not even David. David was her husband, and a good man. But I couldn't risk any leaks. I'll call you when it is safe. Sarah, are you going to be okay? I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. Dark circles under my eyes, hair that needed touching up. The face of a woman who'd been running for 2 years. Yeah, I lied. I'll be fine. I love you. Love you too. I hung up and allowed myself exactly 30 seconds to fall apart. Then I splashed cold water on my face, fixed my makeup, and went back out to finish my shift. Because here is what I'd learned in my years as a prosecutor. When a predator finds you, you only have 2 choices: run or fight. And I was done running. The next 3 days, Victor came back the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that. Each time, he'd sit at a different table, order different meals, sometimes alone, sometimes with business associates, always impeccably dressed, always polite. Always polite. Always watching me with those cold, dark eyes that promised violence. He never said anything directly threatening. That wasn't his style. Victor was smart. He knew better than to make overt threats in a public place with witnesses. But his presence said everything. I own you. I can reach you anytime I want. And when I am ready, you are done. The other waitstaff started to notice. That guy in the corner. My coworker, Jessica, whispered on Thursday. He has been here every day this week. And girl, the way he looks at you. It is creepy as hell. You know him or something? Just a regular customer, I said, forcing a smile. Some guys are like that. Yeah. Well, some guys are stalkers. You want me to talk to Thomas? Get him banned? No. I said too quickly then, softened my tone. No, it is fine. Really, he is harmless. Jessica gave me a look that said she didn't believe me for a second, but she let it drop. But she wasn't wrong about the stalking, because it wasn't just at the restaurant. I started noticing Victor's men everywhere. The guy in the coffee shop across from my apartment building, always there when I left for work. The black SUV that seemed to be on the same streets whenever I walked home. The construction worker who'd been standing on the same corner for 3 days straight, never actually working. They wanted me to know I was being watched, wanted me to feel the walls closing in, and it was working. I barely slept. When I did, I had nightmares. Victor's hands around my throat, Emma's body in a ditch, police finding my remains in a condemned building. I jumped at every sound, checked over my shoulder every few steps. Started carrying pepper spray in one pocket and a knife in the other, knowing full well they'd be useless if Victor decided to make his move. I was living in my own personal horror movie, and I couldn't see a way out. Friday night. The breaking point, it was the dinner rush on Friday night, and the Sterling Bistro was packed. Every table full, kitchen backed up with orders. The kind of chaos that usually I thrived in, busy enough that my mind couldn't wander to dark places. Victor came in at 7:30. But this time, he wasn't alone. He was with Marco Delgado, his right-hand man. The enforcer, the one who did Victor's dirty work when things needed to get permanently resolved. I'd seen Marco's file during my prosecution days. 3 suspected murders, but never enough evidence to make charges stick. Assault, extortion. The kind of man whose presence in a room made everyone subconsciously move toward the exits. They sat at table 18, Victor's usual spot by the window. My manager, David, came up to me. "Sarah, you've got table 18. Can someone else?" I started. Everone slammed, "You are up. No way out." I grabbed menus, took a breath that did nothing to steady my nerves, and walked over. "Good evening, gentlemen. Can I start you with something to drink?" My voice came out steadier than I felt. Years of courtroom experience paying off. Victor looked up from his phone, and that predator smile spread across his face. "Catherine, how lovely to see you again." Using my real name out loud, in front of Marco. "It is Sarah," I said quietly. "Is it?" Victor's smile widened. "My apologies. I could have sworn, well, no matter. Memory plays tricks sometimes, doesn't it?" Marco said nothing. Just stared at me with dead eyes. "What can I get you to drink?" I repeated. "Scotch neat, the Macallan 25 if you have it." Victor's eyes never left my face, and my friend here will have vodka. Isn't that right, Marco? Marco nodded once. "I'll be right back with those." I turned to leave, but Victor's voice stopped me. "Catherine, sorry Sarah, one more thing." I turned back, every instinct screaming at me to run. "There is a situation I'd like to discuss with you, privately. Perhaps after your shift." This was it, the moment I'd been dreading. I don't think that is appropriate." I managed. Victor's smile disappeared. When he spoke again, his voice was soft, deadly soft. "I really must insist. You see, we have some unfinished business. From a few years back, I am sure you remember. The threat hung in the air between us, unspoken but crystal clear. Talk to me, or else." "Fine," I heard myself say. "I am off at 10. "Excellent. Marco and I will wait." The impossible decision the rest of my shift passed in a blur of terror. My mind raced through possibilities, each worse than the last. Option 1. Run, leave right now. Get in my car and drive. Don't stop until I am in another state. But where would I go? Victor had found me once. He'd find me again. And next time, he might not be so patient. Option 2. Go to the police and tell them what? That a respected businessman was eating dinner at the restaurant where I worked. That he'd asked to speak with me. I had no evidence of current threats. And even if I did, Victor owned half the Chicago PD. Any report I filed would be on his desk by morning. Option 3. Meet with him. Hear what he wants. Maybe negotiate. But I knew what he wanted. He wanted me dead. Had wanted it for 2 years. The only question was whether he'd do it quickly or make me suffer first. At 9:45, I was clearing tables in Section 3 when it happened. When my entire life changed, the man at table 7, there was a man sitting alone at table 7. I'd noticed him earlier hard not. He was probably in his early 40s, impeccably dressed in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than my car. Dark hair with distinguished gray at the temples. Strong jaw. The kind of face you'd see on the cover of Forbes or Business Weekly. He'd been working on a laptop throughout dinner, barely touching his steak, completely focused on whatever was on his screen. I wouldn't have thought twice about him, except for one thing. He'd been watching Victor all night. Not in a way that would draw attention. But I'd spent enough time in courtrooms reading body language to notice the small things. The way his eyes flicked toward table 18 every few minutes. The way his posture changed, more alert whenever Victor or Marco moved. And the way he was watching me now, our eyes met across the restaurant. And something in his expression, I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't the predatory hunger in Victor's eyes. It wasn't threatening. It was knowing. Like he could see exactly how terrified I was. Like he understood, before I could overthink it, before I could talk myself out of it. I walked over to his table. "Can I get you anything else, sir?" He looked up from his laptop, studied my face for a long moment. Then, quietly, "You are in trouble." It wasn't a question. I glanced toward table 18. Victor and Marco were deep in conversation, not looking our way. "I don't know what you." Catherine Mitchell. His voice was barely above a whisper. "Former assistant district attorney. You prosecuted organized crime cases until you suddenly resigned 2 years ago. Now you are working here as a waitress, trying to stay off the grid." My blood ran cold. "Who the hell are you, Simone, who can help? But you need to trust me, and you need to decide right now." He nodded subtly toward Victor. "Because in 15 minutes, those men are going to take you somewhere you won't come back from, and we both know it." I stared at him, my mind racing. "Why would you help me?" His expression darkened. "Because 3 years ago, Victor Castellano ordered a hit on my business partner. A good man, a friend. They made it look like a robbery gone wrong. I've been building a case against him ever since." He pulled out a business card and slid it across the table. "Jonathan Sterling, Sterling Industries, CEO, Sterling. The same last name as Thomas, the restaurant owner. You are Thomas's younger brother, yes. And before you ask, Thomas doesn't know who you really are. But I do." His eyes were intense. "I've been tracking Victor for years. And when I saw you were working here, at first I thought you were one of his plants. Then I did some digging, found out about your sister, about why you dropped the case. How do you? I have resources you can't imagine, Catherine. Or would you prefer Sarah?" A slight smile, but his eyes remained serious. "The question is, do you want to keep running, or do you want to take him down?" I looked at Victor, laughing at something. Marco said, looking so confident, so untouchable. Then I looked back at Jonathan Sterling. "If I help you," I whispered, "Victor will kill my sister. Not if he is in federal prison." Jonathan leaned forward. "I am not talking about a local arrest, Catherine. I am talking about a full FBI takedown. But I need your help, your testimony, your files. I don't lie. You are too smart to have walked away empty-handed. You have evidence somewhere, and combined with what I've gathered, we can bury him." My heart was pounding. This was insane. This was exactly the kind of trap Victor would send someone to gain my trust, get me to admit I had evidence, then kill me and destroy everything. But something in Jonathan's eyes. "How do I know you are not working for him?" Jonathan smiled grimly. "You don't. But here is what you do know. In 10 minutes, Victor is going to ask you to step outside with him. And if you do, you are dead. So you have 2 choices. Trust me, or take your chances with him." He was right, and we both knew it. "What do you need me to do?" The plan. Jonathan spoke quickly, his voice low. "When your shift ends, don't go outside. Instead, go to the kitchen. Tell Thomas you are feeling sick. Ask to use his office. I'll meet you there in 5 minutes. But Victor will. I'll handle Victor. You just need to get to that office and wait for me. This is crazy." "Yes, but it is your only shot." He pulled out his phone. "Give me your sister's number right now. I am putting her in protective custody tonight. You can't just watch me." His expression softened slightly. "Catherine, I've been planning this takedown for 3 years. I have resources you can't imagine, FBI contacts, private security, the works. But I need you. You are the key to everything. So please, trust me. What choice did I have? I recited Emma's number, watched as Jonathan typed it in and hit send. Done. My security team is already en route to Minneapolis. They'll have your sister and her family in a safe house within 3 hours. Just like that. Just like that. Now go. 10 o'clock. My hands were shaking as I clocked out. Victor and Marco were still at table 18, waiting, watching. I walked toward them, then veered left at the last second, pushing through the kitchen doors instead. Sarah Thomas looked up from where he was reviewing inventory. I thought you were off. I am not feeling well, I said, and it wasn't even a lie. My whole body was trembling. Can I use your office for a minute? Just need to sit down. Of course, honey. You look pale. Want me to call you a cab? No, I'll be fine. Just need a moment. I made it to the office and locked the door behind me. 30 seconds later, there was a soft knock. It is me. I opened the door. Jonathan slipped inside, immediately went to the window blinds and closed them. Victor just went outside. He is looking for you. Oh God, relax. I told him you left early. Weren't feeling well. Went out the back exit. He is sending Marco to check your apartment now. But don't worry. You are not going back there, ever. Jonathan pulled out his phone and made a call. Anderson, we're ready. Bring the car to the back alley. He hung up and looked at me. Here is what is going to happen. In 60 seconds, we're walking out the back door. There is a black Lincoln waiting. We're going to my downtown office, where you are going to tell me everything you know about Victor Castellano. Then we're going to put you somewhere safe while we put this operation in motion. What operation? Jonathan's smile was cold, calculating. The one that is going to destroy him. The penthouse office, Jonathan's downtown office, wasn't what I expected. The entire west wall was covered with photographs, documents, and red string connecting various pieces of information. Victor's face appeared in at least 30 different photos. His associates, his properties, financial records, surveillance photos. 3 years of obsessive investigation laid bare. Jesus, I whispered. You weren't kidding about building a case. I don't kid about Victor Castellano. Jonathan poured bourbon. Drink? God, yes. I downed half the glass, welcoming the burn. 3 years ago, my business partner Daniel Chen was murdered. Jonathan said, his voice controlled but angry, shot 5 times in a botched robbery. But 2 weeks before he died, Danny discovered Victor was using our West Side development site to move drugs. He wanted to go to the police. I told him to wait. His jaw tightened. 3 days later, he was dead. I am sorry. So am I. That is why I started investigating. Spent 2 years mapping Victor's entire operation. He gestured to the wall. Real estate fronts, money laundering, politicians on his payroll, corrupt cops. He has built an empire. Nearly untouchable, nearly untouchable. Nearly. Jonathan turned to face me. That is where you come in. Your files, your testimony, your insider knowledge. He pulled out a chair. Sit, tell me everything. Catherine's evidence for the next hour. I told him about my investigation 4 years ago. How I'd traced drug deaths back to Victor. How Anthony Russo, a mid-level distributor, rolled on a DUI charge and testified against Victor. I spent 6 months building a RICO case, I explained. Financial records proving money laundering, testimony from 3 witnesses, documentation of 7 murders. I was weeks away from bringing him down. Then he threatened Emma. I came home to find photos of my sister everywhere. her daily routine documented. A note, drop the case or she dies. 48 hours. It was signed with a skull Victor's execution mark. I looked down. What was I supposed to do? You protected your family, and you kept the evidence. 3 encrypted drives, hidden in safety deposit boxes, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, everything I gathered. Financial records, testimonies, surveillance, wiretaps, all of it. Jonathan smiled. Catherine Mitchell, you beautiful, brilliant woman. That is exactly what I need. The 6-month plan. Jonathan moved to a whiteboard, started drawing. 6-month operation. 3 phases. Phase 1, intelligence gathering. We retrieve your evidence, combine it with my research, build an airtight federal case. More importantly, we identify Victor's vulnerabilities. Phase 2, infiltration. We insert 2 operatives into Victor's organization, twin brothers Marcus and Michael Caine, former military intelligence. They gain his trust, work their way into the inner circle, feed us real-time intelligence. Twins, I asked. Identical, we insert them separately. Different entry points, Victor doesn't know they're related. If he gets suspicious of one, the other eliminates him to prove loyalty, except we fake the death. Psychological warfare. That is genius. Phase 3, public execution. We don't just arrest him, we destroy him. Every asset seized, every corrupt official exposed, every dirty cop identified. We do it publicly. Maximum media coverage, so his organization never recovers. Jonathan's eyes gleamed. And we do it at the Sterling Bistro, where it all started. When 6 months from today. But phase 1 starts now. The road trip. Jonathan made 3 calls. Anderson, bring the car. We're going to St. Louis tonight. Rebecca, I need FBI paperwork started. Full RICO charges. I'll have evidence within 48 hours. Tell Marcus and Michael to meet me tomorrow, 8 a.m. It is time. He looked at me. Pack your things. Actually, never mind. We'll buy new clothes tomorrow. You are going into protective custody. Secure penthouse, 24/7 security. You'll be safe while we work. For 6 months. For as long as it takes. Your sister's already en route to a Montana safe house with my security team. He showed me a text. Secured. Package safe. Anderson, just like that. Just like that now, let's go get your evidence. We drove through the night, hit all 3 cities in 36 hours. St. Louis 4:47 a.m. 3 thumb drives. Financial records, witness testimonies. Surveillance footage. Indianapolis, 2:30 p.m. More financial records, plus handwritten ledgers in Victor's own handwriting. Anthony Russo stole these from Victor's office safe, I explained. Every drug shipment, every payment, every bribe. Anthony died in a car accident 2 weeks after giving them to me. Jonathan's hands trembled as he photographed each page. This ties directly to Victor. Handwriting analysis will prove it. Minneapolis, 11:47 p.m. Everything from the other boxes, plus a video confession. Anthony Russo appeared on screen, tired and scared but determined. My name is Anthony Russo. I am here to testify about Victor Castellano's criminal organization. For 47 minutes, Anthony laid out everything. Names, dates, operations. Murders he'd witnessed. The entire structure of Victor's empire. When it finished, Jonathan sat back. We have him. With this, with your files, with what Marcus and Michael will find, we have him. The Caine brothers back in Chicago at 6 a.m. Jonathan took me to my new apartment, 47th floor. River North, security, like Fort Knox. Cameras everywhere except bedroom and bathroom. My gilded cage. I slept for 6 hours, then woke to knocking. Through the security camera, Jonathan with two identical men, Marcus and Michael Caine. Both 6'1", athletic build, military bearing, dangerous eyes. The only difference, Marcus had a small scar on his left eyebrow. Michael's voice was slightly deeper. "Ma'am," Marcus said, shaking my hand. "We've heard a lot about you. Taking on Victor Castellano took guts." "Or stupidity," I said. "Usually the same thing," Michael added with a slight smile. For 3 hours, I briefed them on Victor's organization. Structure, Victor at top, 3 lieutenants, Marco Delgado enforcement, Robert Chen finances, Tommy Greco logistics, mid-level managers, street-level disposables, psychology, paranoid but narcissistic, values competence, obsessed with respect, has a twisted code of honor. Weaknesses, his legitimate business reputation, his superstition, his mother, his ego. Marcus nodded. "I'll go through logistics. Approach Tommy Greco with information about a corrupt dock supervisor. Prove myself useful." "I'll go through enforcement," Michael said. "Marco's always looking for military-trained muscle. I'll stage a bar fight. Let him recruit me." "Marcus goes first," Jonathan explained. "Gets established over 2 months. Then Michael enters, completely separate. No connection between them. And if Victor gets suspicious," Michael said, "the other one discovers the mole and handles it. You fake your death." "We've done it before," Marcus said casually. "These guys were either incredibly brave or absolutely insane." Marcus enters. Week 1 that night. Marcus went to the brass rail, where Tommy Greco drank every Thursday. We watched through hidden cameras. Marcus Stone, sat at the bar, waited. When Tommy's crew laughed at a joke, Marcus chuckled naturally. Tommy noticed, gestured him over. They talked. Marcus showed something on his phone. Tommy's expression changed, interested. He made a call, nodded. They shook hands. Marcus left at 11:23 p.m. At 11:47, he walked into Jonathan's office. "I am in. Tommy wants me to meet his logistics coordinator tomorrow. If I prove the dock corruption, he'll bring me into the organization." "Can you prove it?" Marcus grinned. "Already have the evidence. Dock supervisor Ray Peters, actually a friend playing the role. We'll expose him, Tommy will be impressed, and I'll have my foot in the door." Weeks 1 to 8. Building trust. Week 1. Marcus exposed the corrupt supervisor. Tommy was impressed. Week 2. Marcus handled a warehouse shipment perfectly. Tommy brought him deeper. Week 3. Marcus met Robert Chen, learned about money laundering. Week 4. Tommy introduced Marcus to Marco. Marco gave him a test beat someone who owed Victor money. Marcus did it staged with our operative. Proved he could handle violence. Week 5. Marcus was invited to Victor's corporate headquarters. Now part of the inner circle. Week 6. Marcus provided first major intelligence, list of all Victor's properties, including hidden warehouses. Week 7. Jonathan briefed FBI agent Rebecca Torres. Federal warrants prepared, but sealed. Week 8, time for Michael. Michael enters the bar fight. Michael's cover, Michael Rivera, former Marine Force Recon. Dishonorable discharge for excessive violence. 3 years mercenary work in South America. Michael staged a bar fight at Marco's usual spot. 3 guys jumped him, all our operatives. Michael took them down in 90 seconds, brutal and efficient. Marco watched the whole thing. When it was over, Marco approached. "You handle yourself well." Michael wiped blood from his lip. "Marines taught me well. You looking for work?" "Depends. What kind?" Marco smiled. "The kind that pays well and requires discretion." "I am listening." The twins' strategy over the next 2 months. The strategy proved brilliant. Marcus was in logistics and finance trusted coordinator, detail-oriented, making sure shipments moved and money flowed. Michael was in enforcement dangerous muscle, handled problems. The guy Marco sent when someone needed to be scared or hurt. They never interacted, never acknowledged each other, completely separate people in Victor's world. But they fed Jonathan and the FBI real-time intelligence about everything. Shipment schedules, financial transfers, corrupt officials, drug cache locations, planned violence. Victor had no idea. Month 3. The leak. Then came the psychological trap. Marcus discovered a leak in the organization. Someone passing information to the FBI. He brought it to Tommy, who brought it to Victor. Victor went paranoid, started investigating everyone, creating fear and suspicion. And Marcus looked like a hero, the one who uncovered the threat. Victor called Marcus in for a personal meeting. We watched via Marcus's hidden button camera. Victor sat behind his desk, every inch the businessman, but his eyes were cold. Tommy speaks highly of you. Marcus Stone, former military. Good instincts. You handled that doc situation well. Just doing my job, Mr. Castellano. Now you tell me there is a leak. Yes, sir. Information getting out, details only inner circle would know. Victor studied him. Do you know who? Not yet, but I have suspicions. I am narrowing it down. Good, find them when you do. Bring them to me personally. Yes, sir. Victor leaned back. I like you, Marcus. You remind me of myself. Hungry, smart, loyal, stay that way, and you'll go far. Thank you, Mr. Castellano. I won't let you down. After Marcus left, we watched the feed in Jonathan's office. He trusts you, Jonathan breathed. For now, Marcus said, but I need to give him the leak soon. Someone to focus his paranoia on. We'll set someone up, Jonathan said. Someone real but not critical. Someone who deserves it, I added firmly. Already have someone, Michael said. Carl Winters, one of Marco's enforcers, sadist. Last week he beat a prostitute half to death over $20. Marco had to stop him from killing her. Perfect, Marcus agreed. Low level enough we won't miss him. Dirty enough, no one will mourn. Jonathan nodded. Plant evidence Carl's talking to FBI. Make it convincing, let Victor find him. Month 4. Setting the trap. We spent 2 weeks building the case against Carl Winters. Marcus accidentally found encrypted messages on Carl's phone, actually planted by US showing communication with an FBI contact. Michael noticed Carl acting suspicious, watching his back, nervous. They brought it to Marco separately, not knowing they were both reporting the same thing. That made it more convincing. Marco investigated, found the planted evidence, brought it to Victor. Victor called a meeting. Private. Just his 3 lieutenants and Carl. Michael was outside the door as security. He had a hidden audio recorder. We heard everything. Carl, you've been with me for 3 years. Victor's voice was calm, deadly calm. Yes, Mr. Castellano, loyal 3 years. Then explain these messages. The one showing you've been talking to the FBI. I don't, those aren't, someone planted those. Marco, show him. Sounds of papers rustling. Carl's breathing getting faster. That is not me, I swear. Someone setting me up. That is what they all say. Victor's voice never changed. Marco, take him downstairs. Find out what he told them. Then handle it. No, please, Mr. Castellano. I am loyal. I've never no. Sounds of struggle. A door opening, then closing. Silence. Then Victor, Tommy, Robert increase security protocols. Everyone gets vetted again. I want to know who else might be compromised. Yes, sir. The meeting ended. 12 hours later, Carl Winters's body was found in an alley on the south side. Official cause of death: drug overdose. We knew better. He was dirty, Jonathan said when I expressed discomfort. He'd killed before. Beat women. He chose that life. I know, I said. Doesn't make it easier. War has casualties, Catherine, and we're at war. Month 5. Victor's trust test with the leak eliminated. Victor relaxed slightly, trusted his inner circle more. Marcus was now coordinating major shipments, had access to financial records, knew every property, every operation, every secret. Michael was Marco's right-hand man, handled enforcement, knew about planned violence, protection rackets, who was being targeted. Together they had complete intelligence on Victor's empire, but Victor was still paranoid. He decided to test Marcus. The test came in month 5. Victor called Marcus to his office, handed him a gun. There is a witness. Federal case against one of my associates. She is testifying next week. I need you to handle it. Marcus took the gun. Where? Victor slid a photo across the desk. A woman, mid-30s. Pretty scared eyes. Her name is Jennifer Martinez. She'll be at this address tonight. Make it look like a robbery. No connections back to us. Marcus looked at the photo. His expression never changed. Consider it done. We scrambled. Jennifer Martinez was real. A witness in a federal case under FBI protection. But Victor had found her somehow. We have to warn her, I said frantically. Get her out. Already on it, Jonathan said, calling Agent Torres. Rebecca, it is John. Victor ordered a hit on Jennifer Martinez. Tonight. Yes, I am sure. Marcus Stone is my operative. No, he is not going to actually kill her, but we need to get her out now. He hung up. FBI's moving her to a safe house, but Marcus still has to report back to Victor. How? I asked. If he doesn't kill her, we fake it, Marcus said calmly. FBI stages a crime scene. Body bag, blood, police reports. Makes it look like Jennifer Martinez died in a home invasion. I take photos, show them to Victor. Will he believe it? He'll check. He always checks. That is why Rebecca needs to make it look perfect. Real police reports. Real media coverage. Real funeral. Can she do that? She is FBI. She can do anything. 3 days later, Marcus showed Victor photos of a staged crime scene. News reports of Jennifer Martinez's tragic death. Police statements. Victor studied everything carefully, made calls, verified. Then he smiled. Well done, Marcus. You've proven yourself. Thank you, sir. Marcus was now fully trusted, complete access to everything. We were ready for Phase 3. Month 6. Final preparations. Jonathan, Marcus, Michael, Agent Torres, and I met at the safe house. We have everything, Torres said, laying out files, financial records, witness testimonies, intelligence from Marcus and Michael. Video evidence, wiretaps. Enough for RICO charges, federal prosecution, life in prison. When do we move? I asked. We coordinate it carefully, Jonathan said. FBI raids on all his properties simultaneously. Assets frozen, associates arrested. Media present for maximum coverage. And Victor? Jonathan's smile was cold. Victor gets arrested at the Sterling Bistro during dinner service in front of everyone. Maximum humiliation. When? Friday night. 6 days from now. Jonathan looked at each of us. Marcus, Michael, you are in the most danger. Once Victor's arrested, his people will know someone betrayed him. You need exit strategies. Already planned, Marcus said. The moment FBI moves, we disappear. New identities, new lives. Your cousin Sophia, I said quietly. She'll have justice. The brothers exchanged a look. She will, Michael said. Finally, 6 days until the endgame. 6 days until Victor Castellano's empire fell. 6 days until I could finally breathe. He called Emma on the secure phone that night, Sarah. Her voice was tired. Is it almost over? Almost one more week. Then you can come home. I miss you. Lucas keeps asking about his aunt. Tell him I love him. Tell him I love him. Tell him I'll see him soon. I promise. Be safe, Sarah. I love you. Love you too. I stood at the window of my 47th floor apartment, looking out at Chicago. The city lights sparkled below. Somewhere out there, Victor was sitting in his mansion, thinking he was untouchable. He had no idea what was coming. Thunder rumbled in the distance. A storm moving in. Perfect, I whispered to myself. Friday, D-Day minus 6 hours, the morning of Victor Castellano's fall started. Like any other Friday in Chicago, commuters rushed to work. Coffee shops filled with the usual crowd. The Sterling Bistro's kitchen staff prepped for dinner service, unaware that tonight would change everything. I woke at 6 a.m. in my safe house apartment, stomach churning with nervous energy. Today was the day. 6 months of planning. 6 months of living in fear. 6 months of watching Marcus and Michael risk their lives inside Victor's organization. All of it came down to the next 12 hours. My phone buzzed. Jonathan. Final briefing at 10 a.m. FBI office downtown. Be ready. I texted back. I'll be there. Then I called Emma on the secure line. Sarah. Her voice was groggy, still early in Montana. Is it today? It is today. By tonight, it'll be over. Are you safe? I will be, I promise. My voice cracked slightly. If anything goes wrong, nothing's going wrong. You hear me? You are going to take him down, and then you are coming to see your nephew. He made you a drawing. It is a superhero. He says, it is you. I smiled despite my nerves. Tell him his aunt can't wait to see it. Be safe, Catherine. She used my real name. The first time in 2 years? I will. I love you. Love you too. FBI field office. 10 a.m. The conference room was packed. Agent Rebecca Torres stood at the head of the table, mid-40s. Sharp-eyed, the kind of woman who commanded respect the moment she entered a room. Around her 15 FBI agents, 3 assistant U.S. attorneys, and a representative from the DEA. Jonathan, Marcus, Michael, and I sat together on one side. Let's review the operation, Torres began, clicking to a presentation on the screen. Operation Checkmate. 6 months in planning. Target Victor Castellano and his entire criminal organization. The screen showed Victor's photo, then branched out to show his empire properties, associates, shell companies, all mapped out in intricate detail. At exactly 7 p.m. tonight, we execute simultaneous raids on 43 locations across Chicago and the surrounding area. Torres clicked through photos. Warehouses, safe houses, legitimate businesses used as fronts. We've secured warrants for all of them. Asset seizure, one of the attorneys asked. Everything, real estate, bank accounts, vehicles, business holdings. By midnight tonight, Victor Castellano will be financially destroyed even if we somehow fail to convict him, which we won't. Torres clicked to the next slide. Mugshots and names. We have arrest warrants for 72 individuals. This includes Victor's 3 lieutenants, Marco Delgado, Robert Chen, Tommy Greco, mid-level managers, enforcers, financial coordinators, street-level distributors. We're taking down the entire organization, top to bottom. What about the corrupt officials? Another agent asked. Separate operation, handled by Internal Affairs and Public Corruption Unit, 9 police officers, 3 city councilmen, 1 state senator, 2 judges. They'll be arrested tomorrow morning once Victor's in custody and can't warn them. 12 years of corruption, exposed in one night. Now the main event. Torres clicked to a photo of the Sterling Bistro. Victor Castellano dines at this restaurant every Friday at 8 p.m. table 18. His usual spot tonight will be no different. He doesn't know we're coming. He has no idea. As far as Victor knows, everything's normal. His operations are running smoothly. His people are loyal. He is untouchable. Torres smiled grimly. He is wrong. She clicked to a tactical map of the restaurant. At exactly 8:47 p.m. 47 minutes into his meal, FBI tactical teams will enter through 3 points: front entrance, kitchen entrance, emergency exit. We surround him, announce arrest, and take him into custody. The entire restaurant will be secured. Every customer, every staff member becomes a witness. Media, asked one of the attorneys. Tipped off at 8:30 p.m., close enough they can get there, but not so early Victor hears about it. By the time we walk him out in handcuffs, there will be news crews on every corner. This arrest will be broadcast live across the country. Public humiliation, exactly as Jonathan planned. What about his security? An agent asked. Marco Delgado will be there, probably other enforcers. Torres looked at Michael. Agent Rivera. Michael, still in his undercover identity, stood. I'll be there as part of Victor's security detail. Marco trusts me completely. When FBI enters, I'll ensure Marco and the other bodyguards don't resist. I can control the situation from inside. And Marcus? Torres asked. I'll be at one of the warehouse locations during the raids, Marcus said, coordinating a shipment. When FBI arrives, I'll be arrested, with everyone else to maintain my cover, then transported separately and released. Good. Once Victor's in custody, both of you will be extracted to secure locations, new identities, relocation assistance, the full package. You've earned it. The brothers nodded. Torres turned to me. Miss Mitchell, you'll be in an FBI surveillance van outside the restaurant. You'll watch everything happen in real time, but you won't be in danger. After the arrest, you'll be debriefed and released from protective custody. Your sister's family can return home within 48 hours. Finally, this nightmare would be over. Questions? Torres asked. No one spoke. Then let's do this. Tactical teams deploy at 6 p.m. Everyone else, your assignments are in your briefing packets. We meet back here at midnight for debriefing. She looked around the room. This is the culmination of years of work. Multiple investigations. Countless hours. Today, we take down one of the most dangerous criminal organizations in the Midwest. Let's make it count. Everyone stood. The energy in the room was electric. We were really doing this. The Sterling Bistro, 4:30 p.m. I rode with Jonathan and Agent Torres to the restaurant 4 hours before the operation. Thomas Sterling, Jonathan's brother, met us in his office. He looked nervous. You are sure about this? He asked Jonathan. Victor Castellano is a powerful man. If something goes wrong, nothing will go wrong, Jonathan said firmly. Rebecca's team knows what they're doing. And after tonight, Victor won't be powerful anymore. He'll be in federal custody. But my restaurant will be famous, Torres interjected. The place where Victor Castellano was brought to justice. Trust me, Mr. Sterling. You'll have customers lined up around the block after tonight. Thomas still looked uncertain, but he nodded. What do you need from me? Keep everything normal, Torres said. Regular dinner service. When we enter at 8:47, have your staff move toward the kitchen and stay there. We'll clear the restaurant quickly. The entire operation should take less than 10 minutes. And Catherine, Thomas looked at me. You are the waitress who he was threatening. I am the assistant district attorney he tried to silence, I corrected. But yes. Thomas's eyes widened. My God, I had no idea. I am so sorry you went through that. Not your fault. You gave me a job when I needed one. I am grateful for that. He shook his head. You are incredibly brave, both of you. He looked at his brother. I am proud of you, John. For Danny. Jonathan's expression softened. For Danny. The surveillance van 7:15 p.m. The FBI surveillance van was parked 2 blocks from the Sterling Bistro, disguised as a cable repair vehicle. Inside, banks of monitors showing every angle of the restaurant, audio feeds, tactical team positions. I sat between Torres and Jonathan, watching the screens. The restaurant was filling up, dinner service in full swing. Customers laughing, eating, drinking wine, completely unaware of what was about to happen. Team 1 in position, a voice crackled over the radio. Team 2 in position. Team 3 in position. Torres keyed her radio. Hold positions. Wait for target arrival. 7:32 p.m. A black Mercedes pulled up outside the restaurant. Victor Castellano stepped out. Even on the grainy surveillance footage, he looked exactly as I remembered. Expensive suit, confident stride. The kind of man who walked into a room knowing he owned it. Marco Delgado emerged from the passenger side, massive, intimidating. Eyes scanning for threats. 2 more bodyguards exited a second vehicle, and Michael, undercover as Michael Rivera, was with them. Target has arrived, Torres said into her radio. All teams maintain position. We watched as Victor entered the restaurant. Thomas greeted him personally, probably nervous as hell, but hiding it well, showed him to table 18, the usual spot by the window. Victor sat. Marco stood nearby, arms crossed. Michael took a position by the door with the other bodyguards. A waitress, Jessica, I recognized her, brought menus and water. Everything normal. Just another Friday night. How is he look? Jonathan asked, staring at Victor's image on the monitor. Relaxed, I said. Confident. He has no idea. Good. 7:58 p.m. Victor ordered. The salmon, as always, expensive wine. 8:15 p.m. His food arrived. He ate leisurely, checking his phone occasionally, the picture of a successful businessman enjoying dinner. 8:30 p.m. Torres made the call to the media. Yes, this is Special Agent Rebecca Torres, FBI. We have a tip you might be interested in. The Sterling Bistro downtown. Be there by 8:45. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. She hung up. Now we wait. 8:42 p.m. News vans started arriving, setting up across the street. Cameras ready. They're here. An FBI agent monitoring the street reported. Good, Torres said. All teams prepare to move. We go in 5 minutes. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. This was it. 8:47 p.m. The takedown, all teams. Go, go, go. On the monitors, I watched it unfold like a choreographed dance. Front entrance, 6 FBI agents in tactical gear burst through the door. FBI, nobody move. Kitchen entrance, 4 more agents flooded in, securing the back. Emergency exit, 2 agents blocked escape routes. The restaurant erupted in chaos. Customers screamed. Staff ducked behind counters. Plates crashed to the floor. And Victor's face went from confusion to recognition to rage in 3 seconds flat. Marco reached for his weapon, but Michael was faster, grabbed Marco's arm, twisted it behind his back, whispered something in his ear. Marco froze. The other bodyguards raised their hands immediately. Smart. They knew when they were outmatched. Victor Castellano. Torres's voice boomed through the restaurant. She was leading the tactical team personally. FBI, you are under arrest. Put your hands where I can see them. Victor stood slowly. His expression was pure hatred. This is a mistake, he said coldly. I am a businessman. I don't know what you think. Save it. Torres approached with handcuffs. Victor Castellano, you are under arrest for racketeering, drug trafficking, money laundering, conspiracy to commit murder, and about 40 other charges. You have the right to remain silent. She cuffed him while reciting his Miranda rights. The whole restaurant watched in stunned silence. And outside, through the windows, I could see the news cameras capturing everything every single second. Victor's eyes swept the restaurant as Torres led him toward the door, looking for a way out, looking for help. Then his eyes landed on someone in the crowd of customers, Jonathan Sterling. Jonathan had positioned himself at a table near the front, close enough to watch, close enough for Victor to see him. Their eyes met, and Jonathan smiled cold. Triumphant, that is when Victor understood. You, Victor hissed. You did this for Danny, Jonathan said quietly. But in the silence of the restaurant, everyone heard it. You are dead, Victor snarled. You hear me? You are. Keep talking, Torres said, pushing him forward. Give us more charges, please. They led him outside. The news cameras swarmed immediately. Flashes everywhere. Reporters shouting questions. Mr. Castellano, how do you respond to the charges? Is it true you ran a drug trafficking operation? Did you order murders? Victor said nothing, but his face was broadcast live on every news channel in the city. The great Victor Castellano, in handcuffs, destroyed. In the surveillance van, I watched it all with tears streaming down my face. It is over, I whispered. It is finally over. Jonathan put his arm around me. You did it, Catherine. You beat him. We did it, I corrected. All of us. Torres's voice crackled over the radio. Target secured, beginning transport to federal holding. Then more voices, rapid fire. Warehouse Alpha secured. 13 suspects in custody. Warehouse Bravo secured. 8 suspects in custody. Safe house on West Division secured. 5 suspects in custody. Castellano Enterprises headquarters secured, financial records seized. Report after report all across Chicago, 43 locations, 72 arrests. Victor's empire was falling in real time. 9:30 p.m., the aftermath an hour later. Torres returned to the van. She looked exhausted but satisfied. It is done, she said. Victor's in a federal holding cell. Marco, Tommy, and Robert are in custody. We seized $47 million in assets, 12 properties, and enough evidence to put them away for life. Any complications? Jonathan asked. None. It went perfectly. Marcus was arrested at the warehouse and is being processed separately as planned. Michael's in debriefing. By tomorrow morning, they'll both have new identities and be on their way to new lives. She looked at me. Miss Mitchell, you are free to go. Your protective custody is officially ended. Your sister can return home whenever she is ready, and the U.S. Attorney's Office will be in touch about your testimony for the trial. Free. I was free. Thank you, I said, my voice breaking. Thank you for believing us, for taking him down. Thank you for your courage, Torres replied. None of this happens without you, without your evidence, without your willingness to face him. She extended her hand. The country owes you a debt, Catherine Mitchell. I shook her hand. I just wanted my life back. You've got it. Use it well. The Sterling Bistro, 11 p.m. After the FBI cleared the scene. Jonathan and I returned to the restaurant. It was empty now. Staff had gone home. Chairs were stacked on tables. The floor was being mopped. But table 18, Victor's table, still had his unfinished salmon, his half-empty wine glass. "I want to remember this," Jonathan said, staring at the table. The moment everything changed. "For Danny," I said. "For Danny." He turned to me. "What will you do now?" "Go back to being a prosecutor. Maybe. Eventually. Right now, I just want to see my sister, hold my nephew. Sleep in my own bed without looking over my shoulder." I smiled. "What about you?" "I have a company to run. A brother to thank for letting us use his restaurant as an FBI sting operation." He laughed. "And maybe, for the first time in 3 years, I can actually focus on business instead of revenge." "Revenge. Justice," he corrected. "We got justice." We stood in comfortable silence for a moment, looking at the empty restaurant. "You know," I said, "if you ever need a legal consultant for Sterling Industries, I might be interested. Once I am ready to work again." Jonathan raised an eyebrow. "Catherine Mitchell, are you asking me for a job?" "I am saying we make a good team. You are brilliant at strategy. I am good at law. We took down Victor Castellano together. Imagine what else we could accomplish." He smiled. "I'll have my HR department call you. Looking forward to it." 2 weeks later, the trial would take months to prepare, but the media coverage was immediate and relentless. Every news outlet ran the story. Victor Castellano's empire exposed in excruciating detail. His arrests, his crimes, his victims finally getting their day. The corrupt officials were arrested as planned. 9 cops, 3 councilmen, 1 state senator, 2 judges. All of them caught in Victor's web. Chicago began to clean itself up. And me. I was in Montana, sitting in Emma's living room, watching her son Lucas draw pictures at the coffee table. "Aunt Catherine," he said, holding up a crayon drawing. "Look, it is you." The picture showed a stick figure with a cape. "Superhero Aunt Catherine," he explained proudly. "It is perfect," I said, pulling him into a hug. "You are very talented." Emma brought coffee and sat beside me. "How are you really doing?" "Honestly, I am okay. Better than okay." I watched Lucas color. "For the first time in 2 years, I am not afraid. I can use my real name. I can go outside without looking over my shoulder. I can actually live." "What about testifying? When Victor goes to trial?" "I'll be ready. I am not scared of him anymore, Em. He is just a man, a criminal, and he is going to spend the rest of his life in prison." My phone buzzed. A message from Marcus Kane, now going by Marcus Patterson, living somewhere in Oregon with his brother. "Saw the news. They're calling you a hero. Well deserved. Sophia would be proud." I typed back, "She'd be proud of you too. Stay safe." See, another message, this one from Jonathan. "Dinner this Friday. The Sterling Bistro. Table 7, my treat." I smiled. "I'll be there. Catherine." 6 months later, the trial of Victor Castellano was the biggest criminal case in Chicago history. The prosecution presented over 2,000 pieces of evidence: financial records, wiretaps, surveillance footage, witness testimony from 43 people, including Marcus and Michael Kane, testifying under their new identities via video link, and me. I took the stand on day 12 of the trial. Victor sat at the defense table, flanked by 3 lawyers, staring at me with pure hatred. I stared back, unflinching. "State your name for the record," the prosecutor said. "Catherine Sarah Mitchell, former Assistant District Attorney, Cook County." "Miss Mitchell, can you describe your investigation into the defendant?" For 4 hours, I told the jury everything. How I'd built the case, How Victor threatened my sister, how I'd gone into hiding, how I'd kept the evidence that would eventually bring him down. Victor's lawyers tried to discredit me, tried to paint me as a vindictive ex-prosecutor with a grudge. But the evidence spoke for itself. Anthony Russo's video testimony, the handwritten ledgers in Victor's own handwriting, the financial records proving money laundering, the intelligence from Marcus and Michael showing the organization's inner workings. It was overwhelming, irrefutable, damning. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. On the charge of racketeering under the RICO Act, how do you find? Guilty. On the charge of drug trafficking. Guilty. On the charge of conspiracy to commit murder. Guilty. 37 counts. Guilty on every single one. Victor showed no emotion as the verdict was read. But I saw it in his eyes. The moment he realized it was over. He'd lost. Completely. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. Life in federal prison. No possibility of parole. Victor Castellano would die in prison. 1 year later. Epilogue: I stood at the grave of Daniel Chen, placing flowers on the headstone. "We got him, Danny," Jonathan said quietly, standing beside me. "It took 3 years, but we got him." "He'd be proud of you," I said. "He'd be proud of all of us." Jonathan looked at me. Ready to go. Ready. We walked back to his car, the Chicago skyline visible in the distance. "Dinner at Thomas's restaurant," he asked. "Sounds perfect." As we drove, I thought about everything that had happened. The fear, the running, the 2 years of hiding, the 6 months of operation planning, the trial, the victory, and now, finally, peace. I'd returned to work at the DA's office 3 months ago, back to prosecuting criminals, back to fighting for justice. But I was different now, stronger, wiser, more careful, but more determined. Emma and her family were safe, living normal lives again. Marcus and Michael had disappeared into their new identities, living quiet lives somewhere far from Chicago. They'd earned it. And Victor Castellano sat in a maximum security prison, his empire destroyed, his legacy one of crime and corruption and ultimate failure. We'd won, not through violence, not through revenge, but through patience, strategy, and an unwavering commitment to justice. Sometimes the good guys actually win. As we pulled up to the Sterling Bistro, now busier than ever, famous as the place where Victor fell, I smiled. "You know what?" I said to Jonathan. "I think I am going to order the salmon." He laughed. "Catherine Mitchell, you have a dark sense of humor." I learned from the best. We walked inside together, ready for dinner, ready for life, ready for whatever came next. Because we were survivors. We were free, and we were free.